Hello and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. In this video I have a Zionist lady who has been bent on calling out people to support Israel. Now I remember doing a video of hers where she was calling out celebrities who are Jews for not saying anything about this war and not supporting Israel. Today in this video she's upset that an old lady took to social media to showcase her banner which read "I am older than your state." She swears that the Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua, almost 3,500 years ago. Now we have talked about this before. We've talked about how Israel was formed, how Palestine was the one showing on the map and not Israel. We've also uncovered some truth that Jews were never truly indigenous to Israel during this period. So what is she talking about? Let's check out her video.
You're older than our land. We Jews stole the land of Israel. The lies are so outrageous, I don't know how people get away with them. The first recorded Arab presence in Israel was less than 1,400 years ago, in the year 637 CE. We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua. That's almost 3,500 years ago. We Jews have the longest chain of unbroken occupancy in the land of Israel. No one on earth has lived in Israel as long as we Jews have. We Jews were in Israel before Islam even existed. What are you talking about? We've had kings and kingdoms and fortifications and communities here in Israel for thousands of years, and it's all backed by archaeological findings. We Jews were here in Israel when the Byzantines reigned. We were still here in Israel when the Muslims invaded in 637 CE. We Jews were in Israel when the Crusaders attacked in 1099. We were still in Israel when Saladin came into Israel and reconquered from the Crusaders. We Jews were still in Israel when the Ottomans conquered the land from the Mamelukes. And we were still in Israel when the British took the land from the Ottomans. We can't steal a land we've always lived in. We Jews are indigenous to the land of Israel. Stop with the lies.
Now, if she is saying that the Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua, why is it written that in 1312, Joshua was the one of the spies dispatched by Moses to scout the land of Canaan in preparation for its conquest by the children of Israel? If really they were already there, then why did they have to conquer land? Let's check out some stitches and hear what others have to say on this. When I get back, we dig deep into this and we uncover some truths. Here are the stitches.
Jews stole the land of Israel. The lies are...
I love this argument. I love this argument so much because every single time someone says this who's Jewish or pro-Israel, they always claim that Jews are indigenous to this land. Indigenous means that you natively come from this land or you are like the people naturally occurred from this land. Now, what you're saying is true. We all know the first, and 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, whatever it may be. But we all know the first king of Israel was Saul. After that was David. After that was Solomon. All right. Before they had kings, they had judges. One of the most predominant judges, and my favorite, was Deborah. You're not telling new news by literally sharing the story of Prophet Joshua in the book of Joshua, because it's almost like shocking that you may find it that Christians, Muslims, and Jews literally share a majority of the same prophets and stories. So like, besides that, every single time I've asked the question, who was there before Joshua? Everyone is like, I don't know. Oh, who was there? What do you think? It was an empty land, bro? Like, it wasn't an empty land. The land was called Canaan. The Canaanites were there before the Israelites came, before the Hebrews came, before they went in and made their kingdoms. They invaded them. The Canaanites created the boat. They were a mighty civilization. They were a very sophisticated civilization. They are the ancestors of Palestinians, Lebanese, and Syrians. They created one of the first alphabets. These were the people who were there first. That is it. That is it. What you're saying is true about history and the Jewish people 100%, but Joshua went into Canaan.
I don't know how people get away with them.
You Zionist colonizer. Bring your ass home. Bring your ass home. Put that blue passport in your fucking pocket. Get on a plane. Come back to America where we can fight fire with fire. Because you over in somebody else's house causing a whole lot of trouble. A whole lot of fucking trouble. You bring your ass on home to America. There is not a fucking thing over there that belongs to you. You are a United States citizen, whether you like it or not. Bring your ass right the fuck on home. Get out them people's shit. You are lethal and you're an anti-Semite. Bring it to the fucking house so we can deal with you proper.
CE.
It's crazy to me that you think that you just did something when all you did was just prove that you don't know the difference between ethnicity and religion. You don't know the difference between race and religion, my love. Okay, let's go through a quick history lesson here real quick. Where did Christianity come from, my dear? Jesus was a Jew, right? So it had to come from Judaism, right? Do you not know where Islam comes from? Christianity. They just added some new customs to clean up what was on Christianity. New prophet to give the new message. Islam. What are you talking about? Also, can somebody explain to this girl, please? Maybe I guess I'll have to be the one. That religion is ideology, right? I have very rarely, if ever, heard of inheritance based on shared ideology. I mean, technically, I guess it can happen, but it's usually based off of biology, right? Family inheritance. Sometimes somebody might take you under their wing and say that you're their kid and then you inherit that way, right? Or say that you're somebody very special to them and they'll leave you an inheritance. But this is the thing that a lot of people seem to mix up, is God gave you free will, right? We've seen plenty of times in the books that if God wants something to happen, God will send in angels, God will handle it, God's self. Anything the humans do is free will, right? Babylon, King of Babylon, famous Bible story, also the one who actually got rid of the original Israel. Those people were living their wild lives, right? Did God tell them to do that? No, it was their free will. It's your free will to choose to participate in a death cult that wants to kill people just because they're a certain race, because you feel entitled. That is your free will. That is on you. You can't say God wants. If God wanted it, God would have literally taken that ocean and washed them all out to sea to clear the land for you. God can handle the ocean, correct? Moses was able to divide it. I'm pretty sure God would be able to flush everybody out with one giant wave. Wow. God didn't do that, did God? Stop confusing God with your free will. And come on, lady, get a history book. You also need to look into all these people who had to change their names from Eastern European names to appear more, ethnic to the region.
Of Israel, the lies are.
If you think you're Middle Eastern, I might be Congolese.
A common misperception is that the Jews were forced into the diaspora by the Romans after the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem in the year 70 AD, and then 1,800 years later suddenly returned to Palestine, demanding their country back. In reality, the Jewish people have maintained ties to their historic homeland for more than 3,700 years. A national language and a distinct civilization have been maintained. The Jewish people base their claim to the land of Israel on at least 4 premises. Number 1, God promised the land to the patriarch Abraham. And the second one is the Jewish people settled and developed the land. Thirdly, the international community granted political sovereignty in Palestine to the Jewish people. And fourthly, the territory was captured in defensive wars. The term Palestine is believed to be derived from the Philistines, people who in the 12th century BC settled along the Mediterranean coastal plain of what is now Israel and the Gaza Strip. In the 2nd century AD, after crushing the last Jewish revolt, the Romans first applied the name Palestina to Judea, the southern portion of what is now called the West Bank, in an attempt to minimize Jewish identification with the land of Israel. The Arabic word Philistine is derived from this Latin name. The 12 tribes of Israel formed the the first constitutional monarchy in Palestine about 1000 BC. The second king David first made Jerusalem the nation's capital. Although eventually Palestine was split into separate kingdoms, Jewish independence there lasted for 212 years. This is almost as long as Americans have enjoyed independence in what has become known as the United States. Even after the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem and the beginning of the exile, Jewish life in Palestine continued and often flourished. Large communities were re-established in Jerusalem, and by the 9th century, in the 11th century, Jewish communities grew in Rafah, Gaza, Ashkelon, Jaffa, and Caesarea. When Jews began to immigrate to Palestine in large numbers in 1882, fewer than 250,000 Arabs lived there, and the majority of them had arrived in recent decades. Palestine was never an exclusively Arab country, although Arabic gradually became the language of most the population after the Muslim invasions of the 7th century. No independent Arab or Palestinian state ever existed in Palestine. When the distinguished Arab American historian Princeton University Professor Philip Hitti testified against petition before the Anglo-American Committee in 1946. He said, "There is no such thing as Palestine in history. Absolutely not. In fact, Palestine is never explicitly mentioned in the Quran. Rather, it is called the Holy Land." Now, prior to the petition, Palestinian Arabs did not view themselves as having a separate identity. When the first Congress of Muslim Christian Associations met in Jerusalem in February 1919 to choose Palestinian representatives for the Paris Peace Conference, the following resolution was adopted. "We consider Palestine as part of Arab Syria, as it has never been separated from it at any time. We are connected with it by national, religious, linguistic, natural, economic, and geographical bonds." In 1937, a local Arab leader told the Peel Commission, which ultimately suggested that partition of Palestine, there is no such country, Palestine. Palestine is a term the Zionists invented. There is no Palestine in the Bible. Our country was for centuries part of Syria. Checked out the comments from people. They really had a lot to say, and they just shared their own take on this. Canaanites were the original people there when Abraham came to the land. By the time Joshua came, it was the same people. Also, like the Canaanites, the ancestors of the Lebanese existed before Judaism, and Palestinians' land, Lebanese and Syrians are Canaanites. The Palestinians and Lebanese people are literally descendants of the Canaanites, the people who built Jericho 11,000 years ago. Blonde girl talked as if Joshua was her grandfather. She's not even from the true tribes of Israel. She's only European Jew, but Joshua is my cousin. Let me throw in some emotional damage comment here. This one says she would get a sunburn from turning up the brightness on her phone too high, but claims to be indigenous to the Middle East. Curious, when will Zionists realize that being Jewish doesn't make their vision of manifest destiny suddenly okay? Okay, we have come to the end of the video, guys. Don't forget to share your own take on this. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.